reflections on the water, more than darkness in the depths. See him surface in every shadow. On the wind I feel his breath. Golden eye, I found his weakness. Golden eye, he'll do what I please. Golden eye, no time for sweetness, but a bitter kiss will bring him to his knees. You'll never know how I watched you from the shadows as a child. You'll never know how it feels to be the one who's left behind. You'll never know the days, the nights, the tears I've cried. But now my time has come, and time is not on your side.
Once again, it looks like it's my turn to get the traitor card, so I go ahead and start this match off like anyone would. I've already been selected as scientist, so things are already looking up. It's one of my favorite roles to play, especially when traitoring. So I go ahead and start the round off right by making formaldehyde and eventually dumping that into another mix to get myself some heparin, which is a very dangerous chemical to anything that has blood, so everything except for me, considering it will wipe you pretty fucking fast at just 5 units. But I'm going to go ahead and make a whole lot more than just 5 units. So go ahead and stock up on all that and quickly jump into Mate to start looking for loot. Surprisingly, this is one of the first time where I'm not competing with 6 other power gamers just to get some fucking loot here in Mate. And it goes pretty well. I'm able to collect some tools, get some meson scanners, which really helped me see in the dark. Not have to rely on flashlights or anything like that. My 2 objectives are 1, kill some random Grey Titer, and 2, steal the hand teleporter. Pretty tough, but not impossible. It's certainly not as risky or as evident as trying to take a fucking jetpack. Sometimes the captains don't have them on them, they'll leave them in the teleporter room. Other times they'll leave them in their office. It's not like a nuclear authorization disk or anything like that. So fingers crossed it's not on this person. Immediately I run over to science. I basically start off with a ruse telling them I need stuff for R&D. Now part of that's true. I do need the crew monitor in order to give R&D a little bit of a leg up, but the pinpointer doesn't really do anything. I don't believe you can even reconstruct it or deconstruct it in the deconstructor. But it would help me track down my target, and it's perfectly legal, so there's really no reason not to do it. Go ahead and look through that after I've delivered my crew monitor, and when you fucking know it, my target does not enable his suit sensors. He's also one hell of a hard person to target. I can't seem to put my fingers on him. He's a potential collaborator too, which is hilarious considering he's my fucking target. But he is not Syndicate because he doesn't know what the fuck I'm saying whenever I drop these hint hint wink wink codes to him. So essentially it starts with me realizing since I can't put a bell on this guy and I'll have no idea where he is, I need to take care of him first because the hand teleport is not going anywhere. It's going to be either in the office or it's going to be on the captain. One of those two. So I go ahead and do what any normal person would do. I buy the sleepy pen because there's no fucking reason not to buy the sleepy pen at this point. If you don't, you're probably a bad person who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with their life. I track him down and go ahead and give him the old help mate a couple of times and pass it off as me just trying to be a good citizen because my other collaborator, whom I know, happens to be Vroom, who, during a blackout, just like me, looked for the hand teleporter, but when you know it wasn't fucking there. And since I didn't have the advanced pinpointer at that point, I had no fucking clue that I could have just kept going and probably grabbed it. So, first tragedy there in my bad decisions. You're going to be seeing a lot of bad decisions in this trader run. It's going to be bad. But anyway, that's how I knew that Vroom would be on my side, and my original idea was I'll help mate this guy, give him the old sleepy pen, drag him to the corner, basically we'll kill him there one way or the other, maybe debrain him instantly, and then just throw him in the morgue and nobody's any the wiser. Problem with that is it sounded a lot better in my head, and it seemed like it would come together a lot cleaner, because what really happened was I got stuck on several doors, just desperately trying to get into the coroner's office like a fucking tardlet. And luckily, I was able to just pass it off like, yeah, this guy's fucking dumb, and he wanted to be Borged or something like that. So they quickly drag him into robotics, and it seems like everything's going well, but everyone's trying to wake him up. And sure enough, he gets up, and I just tell him, like, yeah, buddy, we were bringing you in here to be Borged because you said right before you fell asleep you wanted that. And for some odd fucking reason, he actually believed that. He believed that at some point during our conversation at the bar, he had agreed to be Borged before passing out, so he was totally down to get Borged. So at this point, I'm feeling, yeah, that's the old grinder charm right there, just able to incept memories into this poor bastard's head. He's all down for it. I'm all down for it. I take him on back. We're gonna get this fucker Borged. But sure enough, at this point, Volp decides it's time for her to grow a fucking conscience and require HOP's authorization in order to get fucking Borged. I've never heard of that ever. Every time I've ever gone in to get Borged, they do it without fucking question. And considering I have this guy's consent, I don't know what the fucking holdup is. But anyhow, I realize this isn't going anywhere, so I drag him off and say, hey, I've got some cool shit to show you. I drag him to one place to give him the old helpmate again. I'm being followed. I drag him to another place. I weld into the Science RD hidden room, which I think, well, this might work out pretty well. It's not many people actually know about this one as far as the extra rooms go. And I throw him in there, go ahead and give him the old helpmate. And sure enough, the RD fucking director, for whatever reason, is also there, and he has tracked me. So I quickly drag him off again, and I start injecting him with heparin at some point, after I smooth talk my way out of medical and say maybe he's just needing cryo sleep, a good old cryo sleep. Eventually he wakes up. I've dragged him in front of 2 engineers, and I tell him that he's fucked and that we need help and that they need to fucking get the power back on. Basically just more bullshit, more smooth talk. Meanwhile, this person's bleeding more than Bernie Sanders' support after he got a fucking car from Hillary Clinton, and I'm having a jolly good time as he just says oof into chat real quick, and I drag him off again into the old helpmate. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident. I just start injecting this poor guy with more and more heparin. He's bleeding out nonstop. There's not a drop left inside of him. And I smoothly deposit his body in an old area, pretty obvious, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Throw him in there, weld the door or the wall, create a false wall, and everything's looking pretty good. All I need to do now, if I was making good decisions, would be make strange reagent, beat him up a bit, and then feed it to him, give him, take the brain. I could use my resources at the RD front desk to build a chainsaw, and then just give them that way, take the brain. I could break into atmospherics and thermite my way to getting some Ava gear with no trace, and then just launch him into space. But for some odd reason, I thought to myself, look, I really want to give this guy, and I want to do it fast. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and make myself a potassium water grenade. That should do it. So I go ahead and make sure I've got enough fucking units for this. I go the full 9 yards, 100 water, 100 potassium. I've got my grenade. I'm feeling pretty good. In my head, this sounds like an excellent idea. There's not going to be anything fucking left. And that should be the end of it. So I open up the door, click or pull the pin, throw it in there, close the door, walk away feeling like a smooth criminal, and sure enough, it doesn't give his fucking body at all, but for whatever fucking reason, it blew out the walls right beside him, so I don't know what universe it exists where a grenade is strong enough to go through steel-reinforced walls, but not blow up a human body, but at this point, I'm just like, well, this is fucked, isn't it? I've made a terrible fucking decision. So I go in there and I try to get the body back. Maybe I can put it into the locker and push it out the hole in the fucking breach. But sure enough, I'm fucked at this point as well. And being an IPC, I am just screaming like a maniac as I'm getting destroyed by the fastmos depressurization of air meets space. And at this point, you would think, well, that was a pretty shitty trader run. Way to just throw it all away. And perhaps you would be right. Security wasn't doing shit for a while. They were not patrolling Maine at all. I have never seen Maine this fucking clear in my life, despite the fact that there was a trader-induced power outage. And there was a fucking explosion right beside Science. You'd think that'd be a little bit of a notification. But anyhow, long story short, a fucking miracle happens. Either I was spotted by a drone who did do repairs around us and then decided to report us, or eventually a security guard just found us. I'm not really sure which. I just went to have some cigarettes and a drink at that point and came back. Eventually, some good citizen wrestled my body away from Jenny, who was taking my body in, presumably for x-rays or whatever. Who the hell knows? But I wasn't getting any help from security at that point. But he wrestled me away, got me up to full strength, put me back in the game. God bless this man. He has doomed the station to one degree or another. So now I've gotten a new lease on life, and I am ready to roll. I've already used up all of my Sleepy Pen's ketamine on this guy, because I just kept, as you can see, kept bumping into people during it, and I didn't really have the weapons equipped that I'd like to at the time. Ill preparation or just trying to do expediency. I didn't want to lose what grasp I had on my trusting citizen. But I take the Sleepy Pen and I use a newly found trick where you can just take the syringe, take whatever chemical you want, and put it in the Sleepy Pen. So, as you knew at round start, I went ahead and made a shit ton of heparin, and I inject the shit out of that into the Sleepy Pen. And now I've got 2 shots of absolute death. Now, 1 shot from this pen is going to be enough to floor you. If I put 2, there's just no hope. Basically, this is going to kill you. It's just a matter of time. And there's really only one solution. Either you're going to get thrown into a cryo jar where you're not going to be really regenerating any blood, or you're going to just pass out at 65% of blood and die, because there's just nothing else. It's all about expediency. Even 5 units is enough to kill you. 50's overkill, 100's thermonuclear. But I PM the ad memes. I want to create some type of distraction, maybe bomb maintenance near security to draw attention away from if I want to thermite in and grab the hand teleporter, and of course that gets denied. I'm not allowed, I'm told, to create a distraction some other way. So, being the sadistic fuck I am, I just track down random people and try to flood medical with new cases of no blood. This poor good citizen was trying to help whatever imaginary character I created for him in maintenance as I inject him twice with heparin, and he goes around screaming bloody murder as he's bleeding out all over the floor, but he can't really figure out what's happening, so he just plops down and I throw him into med to bog down their systems. Quickly re-inject my Sleepy Pen and go for somebody else. I figure, well, maybe I can disguise myself as a sec guard, but this sec guard decided that today's the day that he's put in too many years, and he's 5 weeks away from retirement, so he's not going to give a fuck about the station going to hell, so I figured this guy's as good enough as any to inject with a good old dose of no blood. He sits down, basically in a chair, dying face up, and I just leave him. Feels pretty good, man. So, hopefully this has created some level of chaos, but I've decided at this point, due to the time and the nature that the shuttle's been called, the ultimate solution would be this. A. Wait until the shuttle is called and everyone starts moving in. Strike, go into the room, grab the hand teleporter, run out, get on the shuttle, escape alive. Seems like a good plan, and sometimes this has actually worked with certain levels of thievery. But at the last minute, it looks like Captain has decided to finally put the hand teleporter on his person. So now I have to track down the fucking Captain. And what follows is going to be an absolute race to the finish. He comes out of his fucking bridge area, and I give him the old pen right into the eye. He's none the wiser as I stab him right in the face, injecting him twice with heparin, and he begins to bleed profusely. Now I just have to buy time until he passes out. So I basically just bully him all over the place, slowing him down any way I can, slipping sec officers right beside him. Just anything to buy enough time until he hits that sweet 65%. It's important to note here, no matter what, the Captain is fucked. There's not going to be any blood on the bridge, and there's no way they're bringing him back. It's just a matter of time. So now it's all just about me trying to get onto this fucking station, but as you can see, it's a fucking clusterfuck because absolutely nobody has died this shift. Apparently I needed to just be going around playing Jack the Ripper and injecting everybody with blood loss because there's way too many fucking people on this shuttle. I'm forcing my way up, just desperately trying to get into this fucking room because I know the ticking time bomb of this captain is going to strike any moment, and then I've only got a limited amount of time to get that backpack off of him and slurp up that sweet victory sign at the end. It's a fight to the finish. I'm pushing. I take out my thermite, but apparently thermite doesn't work on the shuttle hull, so it's worthless. I go around again. I bully my way inside. I'm getting slipped left and right, but finally, I am able to pull the backpack off the dead corpse of the captain, and it's in there. It is in the box, and I'm ready. I can feel it. I feel the power within me as I know I have succeeded in my mission, and the shuttle lurch caused me to drop the backpack at the last minute. So I fail?
See him move through smoke and mirrors, feel his presence in the crowd. Other girls